In this video, we will be replacing the front pads and rotors in this 2019 Jeep Compass. To prep this vehicle, I have raised it just so the tire is off the ground, and I have used a safety stand to support the side that I am working on. I also have wheel chocks behind the rear tires and have set the parking brake. Using a 19mm socket, we can remove the wheel. And taking a look at our assembly, we have our rotor. Around the rotor, we have our brake caliper. A portion of the brake caliper assembly is our brake caliper mounting bracket. And inside of that brake caliper, we have our brake pads. Now we also will be locating our brake bleed screw, and we do want to be cognizant of our brake line. With that brake bleed screw, we do have a rubber boot that we can remove. Now I am using the shank of a 1/8 inch drill bit, and the shank of that drill bit will help prevent that bleed screw from collapsing as I loosen this up with an 11mm combination wrench. And the goal at this point is just to loosen it a little bit. And then I did gently snug that. We can then locate our two caliper bolts, and these are 14mm bolts. And although this system is pretty clean, it is always recommended to use some penetrating oil anytime you are loosening tight bolts. We could have done this on the bleed screw as well. And using a large standard head screwdriver, we can work that caliper off. And we want to support that caliper with a bungee cord or length of wire. This will reduce unnecessary pressure on the brake line. We can now clearly see our brake pads, and we can remove them from that mounting bracket. There is a small tab that needs to be depressed. Now it is worth noting that the inside brake pad, this is the one towards the engine side, has a wear indicator on it. We will keep this in mind when we install our new pads. If we take a look at our caliper mounting bracket and follow that to the back side, we have two caliper mounting bracket bolts that need to be removed next. And these are E20 reverse Torx fasteners. Taking a look at our rotor, we do have one fastener holding the rotor onto our assembly. And this is a 5mm hex head fastener. And that should hopefully allow our rotor to be removed. And then we're going to shift our focus back to our caliper, which we have previously supported. We need to reset the piston, but when we do this, we want the bleed screw open so that we are not pushing dirty brake fluid back through the system. I'm using a brake caliper piston reset tool. However, you could use a C-clamp and the old brake pad to do this. And with that piston reset, we can snug the bleed screw and remove our reset tool and old brake pad. And we can see that piston has been reset. And using Amsoil brake and parts cleaner, we will clean our entire assembly. I do have a drip pan underneath it, and it is beneficial to take a brush and clean off any residual debris. It's never going to be perfect, but we just want to reduce further issues down the road. And then I like to coat this with Amsoil heavy duty metal protector. This will help prevent it from rusting and corroding and getting stuck together in the future. We can then shift our focus to the caliper mounting bracket. We want to remove our two hardware components. And then we'll take a look at our two slide pins, and we're going to pull that out. This one does have a bushing on it, and we'll do the same for the other side. This one also has a bushing on it. And we're going to do a little bit of cleanup on those pins using Amsoil brake and parts cleaner. We will also clean the caliper where our mounting hardware sits. And our new brake pad kit does come with hardware, so we can discard the old hardware pieces. And although my box claims it comes with the boots, there was none included, so we'll have to use the old boots. After removing a bit of the old lubricant, I can add new brake parts lubricant. This is Permatex Ultra Brake Parts Lubricant inside of those boots, and a little bit to those guide pins. And we can install that in place. Now I am going to work this around to work out any air that might be in there, and the same for the other side. Our hardware component comes next, and all of these should be the same. I can see right here I have one that is not bent properly, so I'm not too impressed with this brand at this point. And we're going to make sure that gets fully seated on our mounting bracket. And I do want to separate out the correct pad. So I have my old pad and my new pad, making sure I get the correct one. And the other side should be the same, either one of those. And I am going to apply just a little bit of brake parts lubricant to the location where the ears of the brake pads will slide. And we do want to prep our new rotor by cleaning both surfaces with brake and parts cleaner. And because these are drilled and slotted, we want to make sure the front driver side rotor is on the front driver side portion of the vehicle. And we can then line up and install our 5mm hex head fastener to secure that rotor in place. We then have our caliper mounting bracket, which we have prepped with our two E20 reverse Torx bolts. These will then be torqued to 92 foot-pounds. Now it is suggested to apply a small amount of blue thread locker, as the factory does this as well, which is why these bolts were difficult to remove. We can then slip our new pads into place, making sure that wear indicator is on the inside towards the engine. And on our caliper, I do like to apply just a little bit of grease to the piston, as well as our two wings that come in contact with the brake pads. And we can slide that on. And start those caliper bolts by hand. And those 14mm fasteners get torqued to 26 foot-pounds. And because we did have this system open, we do want to bleed the brakes. I will be using a brake bleed tool to aid in this process. And as you do this, you will want to be checking the brake fluid reservoir to verify that your level remains full. You do not want this to run empty. And we will be adding Amsoil 100% synthetic DOT 3 and 4 brake fluid and filling that to the full mark. After that, we will give it one more cleaning of the brake and parts cleaner. This is just in case we touched any component as we were putting this together. And we can then reinstall our wheel, starting each of those lug nuts by hand first. And lastly, we need to depress the brake pedal several times to reset that caliper piston. And for this service, you will want to do the passenger side. Also, it is the exact same procedure as the driver's side. And the only difference I came across was that the bleed screw did require one size smaller drill bit. Lastly, we can take it for a test drive. Now, as I reverse the vehicle, I do like to press on the brakes a few times just to make sure everything feels good and nothing sounds unusual. And then we can take it for a test drive, and this repair is complete.